I am particularly happy with those young ladies who went to Dominican Republic. I'm just happy. I feel like it's one of those places, and you guys can correct me, where you can only be happy. You have no other emotion to have.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think we mentioned it last time out when we said that it's a big achievement that the ladies have made to even be there. And at that time, we were reacting to close defeats that they had against a team like England, who are the second-ranked team in under-17 women's records. And also the defeat, we are not here on Sunday when they lost to North Korea. But we felt like it was a huge achievement for us to be there, just to experience this high-level kind of football. And even you could hear it from the ladies. They mentioned that tulikuwa tunadhani tunajua ball lakini tumeona hatujui.
Nice.
That's what Marion Serenge said after the North Korea game. And so I feel like we have gathered in some experience, some valuable lessons in there. And of course, we had to anguka with one team. And that's what we did against Mexico. I thought it was a good performance. Changes by Mildred Cheche, bringing on 2 players. Lorna Wasike, she scored in that game. And I think that's a good way to leave out the tournament on a very good note, winning a game.
Bernard, can we build on this thing?
I think we can. First of all, I think kudos to the ladies. They're back in the country. They arrived today from the Dominican Republic. And with a lot of, there's a way you can only imagine that you competed at the World Cup. You're the first ever Kenyan team, all genders, to have qualified for the World Cup. I think for them, it's a lot of, it's been a very big learning curve for them. And I think my only hope is that once this ladies team now graduate to the senior team, I'm keen to see what value they'll add into the senior team, because they have gotten an opportunity to be exposed in a very higher level than the senior women's team. So for me, I think that's the biggest talking point. And then how will that be cascaded to the clubs? How will that be cascaded to the schools as well? What have they learned when they were there that they will transmit to? Because one thing about featuring in such major championships is there's something you'll pick up from there that it will never leave you.
Yes. It's like I've seen this with the sevens team. Every time the sevens team, a player went on tour. First one, just they went on tour. Then they went on tour and played. Then they went on tour, played and scored a try. They just changed. So I look at it and I hope that change can be there. But key to what Bernard is saying is, how do we manage the next steps? Because I think that's the most important thing. So they've done well. Lorna Faye, the man of the match. Woman of the match, sorry. Done. Hey, fantastic. So how do we move it to the next level? How do we make sure because this is under 17.
Yes.
So where is our under 20? Then who in this under 17 team can maybe be parachuted to the
Starlets?
To the Starlets. Who is it? Lorna? Is it Marion Serenge, who was the 5th fastest player at the World Cup?
Yeah.
I thought that's a really nice start.
Yes.
She must be really quick.
Yes.
She's behind Trinity Armstrong and Noemi Camacho and Jane.
And you can imagine Wokabi, that is raw speed.
Yeah.
Hajafanya hizi vitu zingine wengine wamefanya.
Kuna hit yetu hapa hakuna. Yeah, tu ni vile amezaliwa.
Ndio, raw speed too.
Yeah.
So imagine if you harness it.
So how can we work on it? Okay?
Yeah.
And how can we work to make sure that the next under 17s also get a taste of the World Cup? Because I think that's where the answer is. How do we make those steps? So that is square one-off. Boletu inapenda one-off sana.
Yeah. And I think that's a very huge question, especially in women's football. Because even when you think about maybe what's happening right now with the Harambee Starlets, it's rare that you find them participating in games during the international window. And for this time round, this is a first off that I have seen them participating in the Pink Ladies Cup.
In Turkey.
Yeah, in Turkey. And I feel like most of the times they're just left alone, and they only come up when we have maybe the African women's champion AUCON when it's coming on. Yeah, the qualifiers. Yes. Yeah, that's the only time we see them. So I would hope that maybe there's a willingness by the Sporting Federation to ensure that these ladies, they don't go to waste. Because after this, you're asking about an under 21 team. I have not seen it. The next step is the Harambee Starlets. How many times are we going to see them participate in those games?
I think also it's important just to appreciate that there's hope. Bottom line, there's hope. I know we always talk and say, look, everything's not going well, everything is going south, but there's hope. Even the fact that, as you say, the Harambee Starlets is currently in Turkey, I think it's good exposure for them. How consistent can we be with this semblance of progress? Because that's usually the challenge. Because okay, fine. When is the next World Cup qualifiers for women? When is the next AFCON qualifiers for women? How do we say, okay, fine, let's build up on what we have been able to witness with the under 17 and see whether we actually qualify for another AFCON?
Yes.
Because bottom line, that's it. We need to be on the same level as, I know they have they have pedigree and stuff, but we need to be on the same level as countries like Nigeria. So that now, if you notice, even globally, women's football is starting to get a lot of attention that it didn't used to get before.
Yeah, there's intention.
There's intention. And you see that gives opportunities to some of these girls. You can imagine in the next 4 years or so, we have the first Kenyan woman playing in the Women's English Premier League. I think that would be fantastic. That would be amazing. Yeah. I think it will come sooner than we expect.
I think Nani will be the first one. What's her name? It's called Majolin.
Yeah, Majolin, I guess.
Yeah, I think she'll be the first one.
Yeah.
A girl is fire.
Yes, she is.
A girl is on the way.
Yeah, it's only unfortunate that she got an injury this season.
Yes.
I hope she's going to be back.
But you're right. So you see, if you get Lorna to go there, if you get Marion to get a team. Because all I was hoping is out of these kids, just to get a club. That's all I was hoping.
Yeah.
I haven't heard anything the sport guys might tell us. But I was just hoping 2 of them, just 2. I think a scout can look at them and say, come. But then again, you see, women's football is not as evolved as men in terms of, the way the men pick, go to under 17, then go to under 20, like the clubs and academies.
Yeah.
I don't think it's the same way.
Yes, the pathway.
Yeah, so maybe you need to work what you are saying and what you are saying the next few years so that at 21 you can show up at the AFCON or the World Cup qualifiers having developed, and then now you get your move. But
yeah, and also at the same breath, you talked about even going into leagues, because most of these girls are still in high schools. So them translating into even the Women's Premier League, we need to see some intention from the federation to just cater for them. Because most of the times when you think about the Women's Premier League, it's all about walkover, it's all about teams people are donating money to those clubs. So if the federation can be intentional about the women's game, you can also build it from also the Women's Premier League and even the Division 1 and Division 2. And that's where maybe they land. After high school, land their Gor Mahia Queens and continue showing your prowess, and probably you're going to get a move out there.